iHeartRadio application. So make sure you download that today. And if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So up in Tiger Town today, again, it does feel good. I will say this never gets old. This never gets old. This feeling never changes. The first real conversations of game week from Clemson's head football coach here on the show that shakes the Southland.
Okay, good to see everybody. Well, we're excited. It's game week finally. Everything builds this for us. So a lot of excitement around here, getting ready for a great matchup. But before we get into the game, just thoughts and prayers with all the people in Louisiana. We've got guys from that area as well, so just keeping them in our thoughts and prayers, and hopefully, can get through a very difficult time. But I want to have the right perspective there as we get focused on this game, because there's a lot of people who are hurting right now, and we know that. Game week is always exciting. Every single week. I mean, again, everything builds to this. You only get 12 opportunities that they give you on your schedule, and whatever comes after that, is a result of what you did on those 12 days. And, if you go all the way to the national championship, that's 15 days. And the other 350 you spend preparing and dreaming and planning and working toward and building toward, these moments. So it's exciting to finally have the opportunity to go play. And I can't wait to see us play. I'm excited to see where we are, because you just coming off a month of camp. So where are we, and what do we got to do to get better? And, huge challenge, obviously, in Georgia. I think this is, I think it's the fourth time in the last 21 years, I guess, since 2000 that there's been a top 5 matchup as an opener. So these are rare moments, that you have games like this. So really difficult challenge, right out of the gate, playing a team that's, good enough to win the whole thing. But we're excited about it, look forward to it. And, when you look at Georgia, they're built in the trenches on both sides, massive, on both sides. They're built to stop the run. They've led the country 2 years in a row in rush defense and yards per carry. Nobody's really ran the ball on them. They've had a moment here or there, but really stout, very aggressive as far as how they support the run, but they're built up the middle. I mean, 99 and 95 are pros, and they're as good as you're going to find. Big, strong, pocket movers. They just don't get moved at the point of attack very often. And then the backers, outstanding players, very, very experienced. And then those safeties, great players, very involved in the run game, physical.
There you go. Dabo Swinney sort of previewing the Georgia Bulldogs. And again, the emphasis on that defensive front and what those guys can do. And that, again, is one of their strengths going up against one of the areas of concern that a lot of Clemson Tiger fans have had over the past few months, as we've sort of got wind of, I don't want to call it indecision, but there seems to still be some maneuvering that's taking place right there on that offensive line. We heard Tony Elliott touching on it yesterday and really trying to anchor things down for Clemson up front. It's been more of a task, I think, than it has been for most people in a while. Let's see. Now, my sister's listening to the show today. She says, I don't think you're on iHeart. I double-checked it. I could hear it on the iHeartRadio app, so that was working for me. But again, going to be a big day for the Clemson Tigers on Saturday against Georgia up in Charlotte. Esley checks in. He says, hey, let's put 2 running backs in the backfield and use one as a blocker. Keep the dogs guessing. Isn't it funny? Like, if you think about Clemson and Georgia in the old days, dude, like, I picture like Chris Lancaster for Clemson. The incredibly you got 2 things. Well, maybe there's more if you really look at it, but the center in the NBA essentially vanishing. I mean, occasionally you got a team that's got a great center on it now. And the fullback in college football. I mean, things that were coast to coast everybody was running with a fullback back in the day. Not anymore. Esley wants to reset it. Esley says he didn't actually say this, but he wants Danny Ford and Vince Dooley on the sidelines too. Just old school. Jacob, listening to the show on YouTube. Thanks, Jacob. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, buddy. He said, if DJ has a huge game Saturday with a Clemson win, do you think it could give him a head start to make a Heisman run? Yeah, I think so. I think that now I've said this since this summer, Jacob. I think the winner of this game and the way the quarterback plays, if they play well, is going to be in the mix for that conversation. And the thing that neither of these guys has to overcome at this point is this sort of pre-built incumbent. Like if Justin Fields was still playing, he would be the guy to beat. If Trevor Lawrence was still playing, he would be the guy to beat. And so none of these guys really have to overcome that, like this unequivocal, this is the number one guy. Like it feels like this Heisman Trophy is sort of wide open as Spencer Rattler's name's been the one at the top. But as far as age and experience goes, I mean, he doesn't blow me out of the water as somebody that I go, man, he's going to be the lock. I mean, he's going to have to perform. And DJ's right there nipping on his heels already. So, sure, on this stage, you heard Dabo Swinney talk about how few and far between games of this magnitude are out of the gate, national audience. I mean, if DJ were to go out there and just light it up and have a huge performance, I think the absolute conversations the next day and even probably in the waning moments, if Clemson were to win by 21 points or something where the analysts can talk about this, would be, man, it seems like DJ's already kind of putting his foot in that Heisman Trophy conversation, maybe the front runner. Stay with us.